first, what I wanted, Tim, for you to bring into this discussion, and you've heard some of the stuff that Calvin has brought to the table already, but first, let's start with what you have learned so far with your study of social media and how that is playing a role in network marketing.
Awesome, man. First and foremost, awesome stuff, Calvin and Brandon. Thank you for having me on here. It's like I had so much to say, and Calvin's coming up with all this stuff. I'm like, man, he's covering a lot of the stuff I was going to cover. But I've learned a lot over the past few years. And, I feel like for a long time I was kind of doing it undercover because as a company, I think a lot of people in our company sort of thought that the company frowned upon doing online methods. And so I remember the day you and I had a conversation, Brandon. Sarah and I kind of had this little thing going with social media, and we were building it, and we had a conversation, and you kind of shared with me what you started to do with social media. And I kind of felt like it gave me the green light to kind of go public with it, because before then, we didn't want to be the black sheep, right? We didn't want to be the ones out there doing something completely different. And while social media is different, it's not really different. It's just doing, like you guys covered, it's really just doing what we've always done, but bringing that stuff to online. And I want to kind of go back to the whole branding aspect of this and kind of tell everybody on here, look, some people frown upon personal branding, but really for me, branding is just the perception that people have about you based on everything they see from you, whether it's the things that you say, their interactions with you, things that you put out, their relationship with you. And so even if you haven't personally worked on your brand, guess what? You have a personal brand because everybody in your circle has a certain perception about you. And what I love about, actually working on your personal brand is you can actually take control of that message. You can take control of the message and you decide what you put out to the public. Now, if you don't want to do that and you want to leave your personal brand up for chance, you can do that. But based on all the experiences people have with you, they have a perception about you. And like Calvin talked about, people don't join products, they don't join a company, they join you. And based on the perception they have about you, they'll decide whether or not they want to be in business with you. So, Sarah and I have built this thing offline for years now. And just recently we've transitioned to online. And when you start to learn the do's and don'ts of social media, you really start to see the people that really haven't figured out what not to do. And I think before you start to learn the different strategies about social media, knowing what not to do is the most important part. I personally stay away from polarizing topics. I don't talk about religion. I don't talk about politics or anything else that might polarize people, because when you do that, a lot of times you're turning off a big portion of your database. And I just want to tell people sometimes, listen, that post that you just posted, probably half the people you want to talk to have differing beliefs, and they may not even want to have a conversation with you after that post.
Okay, I need to stop you there because we need to slow down on that one. That one's huge. Okay. And I think I've got your camera where you can turn it on now. Try it. I think I found the right button. So maybe it'll turn on here in a second the next time you click over. But anyway, I want you to.
The host has stopped video.
No, I just said no. So now I've got it to where we should be able to come on here, and I don't want to, I guess we'll keep rolling with it. We'll figure it out. But I want to repeat this because Calvin said something just now about making sure that you plan your content, right? And so what I find is when people really sabotage themselves, whether it's religion, politics, and whatever, Friday night party, that person is not planning their content. They're just picking up their phone, going to Facebook and posting stuff. Isn't kind of what you would think?
Yeah. And a big part of what you do on social media is attraction marketing. And the bottom line is when you focus on those polarizing topics, you're really doing repulsion marketing. You're really repelling people away from you. And if you want to attract people to you, you have to talk about topics that are of interest to a lot of people. So you may post a political post and you may have a bunch of people that, love it and like it and comment, but the other half of the people hate it. And they'll unfollow you. They won't want to interact with you. And, we all have our own personal opinions, but just like you wouldn't go into a grocery store and start telling people all about your political views or all about your religious views, maybe somebody would, but you have to treat social media as if it's a party, as if it's an open room. And you just wouldn't want to have those conversations with people before you you want to respect people's viewpoints. And that's the way I do it. I have my own personal views. And I may have those conversations in private with people, but at the same time, I respect everybody's viewpoint. I respect the differing viewpoints. And I also don't want to turn people away because those are potential people that could get in business with me or purchase some products from me.
Yeah, good. I'm glad you kind of highlighted that. So what have you observed so far, Tim, on social media with LifeVantage distributors or any distributors? You just hit on some of the bad, right? So what are some of the other things? Like, we didn't talk, Calvin and I didn't talk into detail about your personal page and a business page. So everybody starts with a personal profile page, right?
Right.
And so what are some of the do nots? What should they right now when they get off this webinar, if they haven't already, what are some of the things they should do and what are some of the things they should not do or remove or restructure?
Okay, so I remember when I met Simon Chan, he's the founder of MLM Nation. He's got a huge podcast, a huge following. And he and I connected probably about a year ago. And one of the first things he told me, he came to my Facebook page and he goes, I think you're a good marketer because I can't tell what company you're with. And so if somebody can go to your profile and within a few minutes, they can figure out what company you're with and which products you have to offer, then you're doing it wrong. And so first and foremost, I would go delete anything on your profile that has to do with your company or has to do with your products. Now, when you get to the level of, say, Brandon or somebody else who's at the top of the company, it's a little bit different. People know what company you're with. But still, I would discourage you from promoting your products or your business because you don't want people forming a certain opinion based on Google, right? You want to have that conversation in private and you want to pique curiosity. And so if you're turning your social media account into an infomercial or you're spamming your friends, you are doing it wrong. You are repelling people from you. So I like to keep it a mystery. The crazy thing is I was told years ago, even though we've been building offline, one of the first things somebody told me was to guard your social media account and make sure people don't know what company or products you're involved with. And even though I wasn't building online, I still kept that in the back of my mind. And 5 years later, after joining LifeVantage, there are still people that have been following my social media accounts and have zero clue what company I'm involved in or what products I'm involved in, the ones that I haven't talked to yet. And it's because I protected that and they're curious. So by the time I prospect them and talk to them, they're curious as opposed to, yeah, I know you're doing LifeVantage. I know 10 people that are involved and didn't have any success, right? So you want to keep that a mystery. Now, when it comes to the difference between a personal page and a business page, there's a lot of differences really. Well, your personal page, you're limited on the amount of friends that you can have. They cap it off at 500. And really Facebook wants you to treat your personal page to personal stuff. And so if you post the wrong things about your products or your business, Facebook can and will shut you down. I've seen that before. Yeah, Calvin said it down there, 5,000 friends. With your business page, you can have as many followers as you need, and you can focus more on the business stuff, and you can do paid advertising, which some people have gotten into. Some people I discourage from getting into that right away. But the flexibility of the business page is so much more. Now, the hard part about the business page is to get engagement on your business page is way harder than your personal page. Facebook wants you to pay to play, so you have to do Facebook advertising to get engagement. But if you get into the Facebook advertising, they allow you to target certain markets. And first and foremost, when you want to brand yourself on social media, I think figuring out your target market is the first thing you need to do. Who do you want to attract to you? Who do you want to attract to your business? And when you figure out your target market, you can design your content to attract the right types of people to you. And so some people treat marketing as this thing where you just throw some mud against the wall and hope the right person walks by that's interested in mud. Well, the smart marketers know figuring out who your audience is first so you can fish in the right pond with the right bait. That's the most important thing to me. So figure out who you want in your business. Figure out who you want to attract into your business. Now, some of us who have been in for a while may not talk about our companies, but we may talk about how we're network marketers. So the angle that Sarah and I are taking now is I want to teach people how to be good at network marketing. So it's out in the open that I'm a network marketer, and I want to attract network marketers to me. Because when you attract network marketers, you are already get rid of the hardest hurdle is that network marketing conversation that you have with people that aren't familiar with network marketing. So my content on my business page is strictly teaching people how to build network marketing and specifically how to transition from offline to online. So like Brandon and I talked before this, and we kind of want to let you guys know that building online is not a replacement for the other things that you're doing. And the best way I could paint the difference between offline and online for you is this. Building offline is like going shop at Walmart, right? You walk into the store. It's the offline experience. You get to touch and feel the products. Building online is like the Amazon experience. Both work, both are effective. But just because I do a lot of my shopping on Amazon, I still do a lot of my shopping at stores. I don't go to Walmart much, but I still go into a lot of stores. And so having a plan for both of those things is important. But you can't deny the fact that in 2009, when we went into network marketing, Amazon was a $24.5 billion a year company. So in 2015, Amazon was a $107 billion a year company in sales. That tells me that more people want to transition online. More people want convenience. More people want to do things from the comfort of their home. And at the end of the day, we kind of have to meet people where they are. If you have a large group of your friends and none of them are on social media, I would say having an online strategy isn't as important as somebody who all of their friends are on social media and all of their friends are doing things online. You kind of have to create a strategy that works for your database, right? But moving past your database now, what I love about social media is it allows you to get into people that you don't know yet. It allows you to rebuild your database. And one of the most important things for me about social media is this. Social media allows you to reinvent yourself. Not in a phony way, because when you get into network marketing with the personal development and the training, you do become a different person. But social media allows you to create a different person for yourself and put that image forward, right? The bottom line is sometimes some of us have had things in our past that have kind of damaged the image with our friends. We haven't had any success in anything. Maybe we failed at a bunch of stuff. Maybe we have a checkered past. And no matter what we do to improve ourselves, our group of friends never have a different image of us. But if you change yourself and you reinvent yourself online, you can now approach people that don't know you, and they can get to know the different side of you and not the worst side of you, if that makes sense. So, and it's not in a phony way. But when we go to church, when we go to school and go to public, we don't do a lot of the things that we do behind closed doors. So it's really no different for me. I love what you guys said about the resume. To me, the resume is the perfect way to describe social media, because when you bring your resume in to get a job, they take a look at you. They take a look at your history, right? Well, when the crazy thing is, when you go get a job, one of the first things they do is look at your social media accounts. They want to know what you're into. They want to know what your past is. If you have pictures all over your social media of you partying all the time and your risque pictures and stuff, guess what? You probably won't get the job. And the same thing goes for network marketing. If you have those types of pictures on your social media account and somebody's thinking, am I going to get in business with this person? Can I trust this person? And they look at your social media account, they may say, I don't want to be involved with a person like that. So you have to be very, very mindful of the things that you put out on social media. It's kind of unfortunate that it's that way, but then again, it's kind of cool too, right? So so just take some time to clean up your profile if you can.
Awesome, awesome stuff. I'm going to click over to make you the host, Tim, because it's driving me nuts. So I'm going to click you to host. Let's see if now, as the host, you can turn your camera. Bam.
There it is.
So now you're in full control, buddy. You got the steering wheel.
Hey, I wanted to tell you, you talked about emotional intelligence. I'm like, man, I'm a new dad of a baby girl. My emotions are a wreck right now. So I don't know how my emotional intelligence is.
Well, wait till that baby girl's 10 and someone's got a gun at your school.
I know. When you told that story, I was like, man, that's what I have to look forward to. Stuff like that. Sleepless nights. Tell you what.
So Tim just said something that is so, so, so big, guys. Here's what I find one of the biggest mistakes our team is making. They forget that, okay, first of all, they go onto social media. And Tim, we can't forget this. I want you to touch on what their profile picture should look like, okay? So I want you to touch on that when we come back. But they forget that when they sign up as a distributor, one of the first things I see distributors doing wrong is they'll go on Facebook and they announce to their entire social world that they're going to be a millionaire. And they're quitting, they're leaving their job in 6 months. And if you don't come with me, you're going to miss it. And they make this, I mean, they call the home run before they've ever even taken one swing at the bat. Like they're still in little leagues and they're in the World Series. Tim, you see that?
Yeah, absolutely. And really all that boils down to is setting the wrong expectations for people. And it kind of makes you look like somebody that's just drinking the Kool-Aid, right? That person, somebody sold him, up the river or whatever. And so I see that too. I think we oversell what we can have in network marketing. And because of that, it just looks unrealistic to people. So I don't know if you want me to hit on the profile picture now.
Go to the profile picture.
Okay, so in setting up your profile, one thing you want to do is have a profile picture that's a clear picture of you, right? If you have a professional picture, cool. If you're somebody who dresses in suits, have a picture in a suit. But if you're not somebody who ever wears suits, I wouldn't make yourself look too much not like yourself. But have a clear profile picture so people can tell exactly who you are. I see some people with pictures of their cats, or your profile picture is like a group of 30 people and nobody has a clue which one is you. And so make sure you have a good profile picture, and your banner is a good place for you to show some sort of lifestyle. And if you want to add a link to your website or something else, that's a great place. You can link your social media accounts on that banner. That way, when people come to your profile, they get a nice picture of who you are, and it's not just a mess. I mean, you want your profile to look somewhat professional. Now, for me, I use my personal profile for a lot of my personal stuff. Because I have a business fan page, I use a lot of that for my business page. And I try not to, cross recruit too much with the business and all that in the different pages, but I really just focus on educating, empowering, and entertaining with my social media account, my personal account. I do some educating stuff. I empower people to kind of take things to the next level. And then I entertain by sometimes putting some funny stuff. And so at the end of the day, you want people to be attracted to your profile. That unfollow button is real. If you do some things that turn people off, they'll click unfollow, and it'll just be like you aren't on social media anymore. So you don't want that to happen to you.
Okay, so a clear picture of your face, and making sure that the moment you become a network marketer, like social media now is no longer a toy. It's no longer what you just play with, because the moment you become a distributor, that becomes a tool, that becomes a vehicle.
It's like a business card.
Yeah.
Basically,
Yeah.
It's that first foot forward. And I want to touch back on something. And for me, look, and I hope it's okay that I say this, but a lot of people think that in network marketing, we're building an asset. And the truth is, a lot of what we're building is not an asset because we don't actually own it. We don't own our downline. We don't own the company that we're representing. We don't own the products, right? We're just representing our company. And if you want to find out how quickly we don't own it, mess up with the policies and procedures and see how far, you get with that. The company will take that away from you. The true asset that we're building in network marketing is you. It's your intellectual property. It's your leadership skills. It's your knowledge. It's all of that stuff inside your head is your asset, and nobody can take that away from you. And that's why it's important for you to invest into your intellectual property as much as possible, because at the end of the day, if anything ever happens, you have it up here and you have the ability to go back and build it again. And so we always focus on branding the company and branding the products, but you make sure you brand yourself. Make sure you brand your leadership abilities, because at the end of the day, that may be all you have and to go on. And if you did it properly, that's all you really need.
Yeah. So guys, just so you know, we as a team have put together a think tank, and that think tank, I've got a few of them. One is specifically for social media and our team. And I've asked Tim to be the chairman to kind of quarterback that think tank. So we've got 3 or 4 people. So we've reached out to. We're going to be getting together once a month, and then we're going to be taking that information and bringing some of those best practices to our team webinar that we do once a month. So we're going to probably have that first call this coming week, because the next week is our team webinar, where we're going to be honing in on social media for our team, best case practices. And I know Calvin's still on here. Calvin, one of the things I'm wanting to do with Calvin is I'm going to collaborate with Tim and the think tank and Calvin. And there's this concept that Gary Vee put out. And if you don't know who Gary Vee is, that's okay. But he says you should jab, 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 then do the right hook. And that means give away content and value, and then monetize. Well, I want to have an organized way of monetizing for the people that want it, who maybe don't know how to monetize. And so I've asked Calvin, and we're going to do this in collaboration with Tim and our team, where we're going to produce some content specifically for our Team True Blue LifeVantage distributors. And so it might be about Nerf 2. It might be about oxidative stress. It might be about lifestyle. But what it won't say is, it won't say LifeVantage. It won't say Protandim. And it'll be a way for us to monetize all the hard work that will drive those messages and that offline content. Like, what is that, right? And so Calvin, any last comments or things? I know probably you listening to this, you're probably like me, just drooling, waiting to get a chance to talk. I don't know. We could go on for a long time with this, but any last comments or things that maybe we should touch on as we wrap this up?
Tim wrapped it up perfectly. I can't turn my video on for whatever reason, but you can still hear me.
Yeah.
Man, just everything that he said, I was like, yes, yes, yes. So that was all good stuff. And yeah, I'm excited to do the content stuff for the team. Again, super tasteful. Maybe one piece of content that the whole team can share to like you said, build on the brand itself. So that you're creating. So everything Tim said, especially that at the end of the day, it's about creating the asset that you can take with you no matter what. Yes, the asset is you and the relationships that you can develop and make super deep. And so this is the way to do it.